This lecture is about the importance of systemic balance and how that can safeguard health. This presentation is based on a published article by myself. Now, hormones fluctuate with lifestyle, with age, nutrition, and health status. Hormonal balance appears to be the best defense against all disease, and of course aging, including viral infections. Symptoms of hormonal imbalances: mood swings, low libido, headaches, night sweats, acne, insomnia, tiredness, fatigue, and of course weight gain. Excess adiposity is one of the things that happen with hormonal imbalance: insulin resistance, dyslipidemia, inflammation, and of course thyroid disease. Now, early stages of diabetes has been shown to be very much related to the thyroid, and so is heart disease. So there are several articles that have been published of how the coronary heart disease is associated with very low density lipoproteins, and how also diabetes is also related to the VLDL cholesterol, that is when it's very high. Also, there are cardiovascular consequences of cortisol excess. So when you have excess cortisol, again, it's the same problem with both heart disorder and with diabetics. So toxicity interferes with the balance between ghrelin and leptin. So ghrelin is basically, when you're hungry, you have a lot of ghrelin. You can see the scale goes towards the ghrelin. And when you are satiated, then your leptin takes over. Basically, there is a balance. There is like a scale that goes, it changes when you're hungry and when you're not hungry. But when this balance is disturbed with toxicity, then you have constant hunger. Toxicity in visceral adiposity increases hunger because visceral adiposity contains toxicity. Toxicity is inherent in visceral adiposity, overloads and compromises hepatic detoxification systems, promoting insulin and leptin resistance. Increasing ghrelin, one of the central stimulators of appetite, ultimately promoting increased hunger. What do we mean by leptin resistance? A very interesting thing. You might have very, very high leptin, but it doesn't mean that it creates the signaling that is necessary for the body to function. So it's there, but it doesn't do anything. So that's the resistance to leptin. That's what that means. Now, there is several articles that have associated triglycerides with neuropathy. And that is, again, a problem with diabetes, that a lot of patients have to end up getting amputated as a result of this neuropathic pain and neuropathy that affects them. Now, exercise balances hormones, for sure, but not everybody can exercise. It's not so easy to exercise when you have accumulated a lot of weight. You feel embarrassed, you have to exert a lot more effort. And there are a lot of articles now that show that there is increased inflammation with exercise. There are increased levels of interleukin-6, and that is primarily observed in obese individuals, in smokers, because they exert so much effort, you see. So that's why the cortisol increases, inflammatory hormones increase as well. So you have all of these conditions that interleukin-6 has been increased after exercise, atherosclerosis, aging, of course, non-insulin dependent diabetics, cardiovascular mortality, and so on and so forth. Now, there is a raise in inflammatory markers that is associated with both free and total testosterone suppression. So when the testosterone goes down, now when you exercise very strenuously, the testosterone goes down, your cortisol goes up because you're exerting so much effort. So, but and you have an increase of inflammatory markers associated with low testosterone. So, all the males' higher mortality rates from COVID-19 may have been due to testosterone decline with age. That increases the inflammation, and of course, inflammation is associated with the cytokine storm that takes off the body and basically kills us because the white blood cells attack our own vital organs. This is a study from England. That's a patient that offered her pictures. It's after 90 minutes treatment. And this is a before and after of, this lady did radio frequency. So she had no fat here, but all the fat went on her back. So there was not easy to reduce the fat in that area. So we used this technology, and in one treatment you could see a difference, and that's one of our subjects. The same thing with this lady. Basically, she had no fat on her belly because she had done radio frequency and liposuction, and but it went all to her back. And in one treatment, you could see a difference because her back looked not very attractive the way it looks. This is fat treatments. There is another clinic from Iran that is participating with our research. This is also from Iran, 3 treatments, same different clinic actually. And this is from Indonesia. There was newspaper coverage on that, the results after 1 treatment. And this one is actually from Hong Kong, another clinic that participates with us. This is a table of the results on testosterone and cortisol for each subject. And you can see there was a significant increase of testosterone. Remember, testosterone, low testosterone, may be associated with inflammation and also the high mortality rate among males from COVID-19 and other disorders. Mean average cortisol decrease was 18.42 in this particular study. These values change from study to study. Some of them higher, some of them lower, but they're always in the correct direction. VLDL and triglycerides, VLDL decrease was 54.59% in this particular study, and triglycerides was minus 58.3%. Again, other studies showed much less, others showed much more. Depending on who is participating in the studies, the results vary. The numbers vary, but they're always significant. This is leptin and ghrelin. Mean average leptin increase was plus 82, and ghrelin decrease was minus 735. You don't want ghrelin to be too decreased, otherwise you're going to be anorexic. So this is visceral adipose tissue, VAT, equal to 3D3. VAT decreased by minus 18.21, and the T3 increased by 68.81. Again, visceral fat, we had much better results with other studies, but there is always a decrease. That's the important thing. This is the test, the significance test from VLDL, triglycerides, leptin, 3T3, ghrelin, cortisol, testosterone, BMI, also went down, and visceral adipose tissue. All of them were and IGF-1 and skeletal muscle. Skeletal muscle and IGF-1 went up, and also 3T3. I have to explain that these values, when I say hormonals went up, they went up within the normal range. None of it was like you're at your peak of your hormonal functioning, but it did not go outside the hormonal range. And this is the analysis of variance, again, very highly statistical significance that we found in this study. This is another study very recently we did, 41 subjects, diabetics, 21 diabetics and 20 pre-diabetics, and we had designed, we looked at blood samples, we looked at sonography reports before and after 20 treatments. And this is some of the results that we found. There was fasting blood glucose decrease of 38.44, blood glucose increase of 39.1, and fasting insulin was 54.52. Insulin PP was minus 44.7. Now, what is important that I want to show you something that is very important here. Let me go back to this slide. You can see that all of these pre-diabetics afterwards, except for two, basically, they had normal levels of both insulin and both insulin fasting and PP. And the diabetics, some of them got normal, a few of them got normal, but the rest of them went to the pre-diabetic. So there was a significant increase. So you got from the diabetic to the pre-diabetic or to normal, and from the pre-diabetic, you went down to normal, except for two subjects in both variables. Now, this is the triglycerides that decreased, minus 28.56, and HDL increase, which was 48.30, quite high for this particular study, but much higher than other studies that we did. But again, it has to do with the different participation of different subjects. Average decrease in triglycerides was minus 22 and HDL 30. That's a different study that we did. Oh, that's the pre-diabetics. Before that was the diabetics, now it's the pre-diabetics. So we separated diabetics and diabetics. We did not want to confide the results because diabetics had much less results. So here you had very high HDL in the diabetics. In the pre-diabetics, it was a little less, 38.34 for the HDL. Forty-three and CRP. CRP is very important. There was a significant decrease of CRP, but most people did not get within the normal range of CRP, diabetics or pre-diabetics. Obviously, they need more treatments, they need more. So there was an improvement, that's statistically significant, but they need more to get to the normal range. Whereas with a 43, they appear to be within the normal range. So that was a significant thing to kind of, so you can see the inflammation, how much more and how much more difficult to get rid of it. This is the BMI, overall fat, visceral fat, and skeletal mass. Again, very high significance in all three variables. Everybody had a difference in the right direction. VAT, overall fat was minus 26.14, visceral fat 28.17, and percentage increase of muscle mass was 28.202. This is the statistical significance. You can see all variables, blood glucose, insulin, triglycerides, HDL, triglycerides in both diabetics and pre-diabetics, CRP decrease, BMI increase, skeletal muscle, overall fat, and visceral fat all went towards the right direction. And with this, I would like to thank you for your kind attention. If you do have any questions, please let me know. You will just have to email me at science@IELLIOS.com, and I will give you any more information that you may need. Thank you very much.
Okay. All right. Let me have this.